Hey, good morning, good friends. It's great to see you. I'm Dr. Larry Mitnaul, your friendly neighborhood child and adult psychiatrist. And why don't we jump into it and get to our thought of the morning? So, this thought actually arises from a question, a concern. Sometimes it's not explicitly spoken in the time that I spend with families or with young people, but it's certainly an undercurrent. But this week, I've gotten it pretty directly. So I thought maybe here is a place for us to kind of talk about this theme, which is the way that our children are connected to technology. Now, there's a lot we can say about this. You can check out earlier videos too about kind of internet safety for kids and that sort of thing. So I don't want to go there. But just in our few minutes together, I wanted to reflect on what are some of the trends that I'm seeing in terms of the way that kids kind of get together and are organized. And what are some of the behaviors that are becoming more and more common or prevalent in our culture now that our lives are just inextricably intertwined with technology? I mean, obviously, you're watching me from the comfort of your home or maybe your office or listening on your drive or whatnot. And partially that's thanks to technology being so good at being able to deliver that to you. So what are some of the things to just be mindful of? So I'll give you a little bit of context. So the context that it usually comes up is parents are checking the phone history and looking at text messages, and they're really alarmed at some of the speech that they're seeing, right? These are words, phrases that their kids might not typically use, or perhaps they are observing other interactions too. And maybe they're silly things that are made in jest, but again, the type of language or the type of things that they're sharing really aren't in line with the family's values or what it is that they're hoping to encourage in their kids. So it may begin like this, where a parent is looking through the phone and it says, Karen is fill in your favorite, expletive or what you don't want to hear. And 5 or 6 other people in a group chat kind of tune in and also start really laying it on, saying some harmful, caustic, terrible things to describe this person, right? And so the parents in their dismay have several inclinations, several natural reactions. One is, one, isn't this, perhaps a friend of yours? But two, not only is that someone's subjective opinion, but having written it down and joining in this jest, joining in this cabal of making fun of the other person and putting them down, and having it in this forum where people can screen share or save, or maybe it's being backed up or uploaded to somebody's cloud on their device, right? All of these things also make concrete a thing that might have been a passing expression, something that you may live to regret and want to take those words back and may need to make amends and apologize to the person you've offended. All of these things, we're thinking about their future selves. So how common is this? I mean, very common, at least among the kids that I see in clinic, and part of it has to do with the relationship our kids have with technology. They feel at ease using it. They're really capable at doing it and being effective at getting things done. I mean, you probably had them fix, repair, connect, upload, set up an account for you. If you're an adult watching this, if you're a young person watching this, you've done all of that and know how easy it comes. And so what they're not mindful of is their future selves. As parents, we often take a lot of time thinking about, or at least some time each morning, how they present themselves to the world. Are your teeth brushed? Is your hair done? Try to wear matching socks on occasion. All of those things. But there is another move here going on where a lot of our language, a lot of our time actually should be spent in likely an equal measure with how they present themselves online, especially if a child has at least some degree of freedom with a device of their own. Because the truth is that the things that they say, the things that they do, aren't just in a vacuum, but exist somewhere. And we live in a culture in which that information seems more and more readily available. The mistakes that you make of your younger years can follow you into adulthood. And so we want to set up our kids for the biggest opportunities, the chance for no closed doors when they decide they want to be, an engineer or a rocket scientist, whatever that happens to be. So, this is a really a bit of a distressing trend that I've noticed among young people, especially among teens. But to be honest, the earlier that they have devices, the easier and more familiar they become with using it, and it's just easy for those things to slip in. So it's not if, but when you check the devices, pending that you give them some, independence with devices in the first place, which we'll talk about kind of my criteria and kind of thoughts about these things. But be sure that you're looking out and having those conversations explicitly. How do you look online? What is your profile like? And when it comes to things that you say that can be hurtful or disparaging, even if you think it's kind of a private message, what does that say? And imagine the other person finding it, discovering it, being given it by someone else's child. So anyway, those are my few thoughts for the day, my friends. I hope that you take courage in whatever you're doing, and have a healthy presence online in your text messages as well. All right, take good care, my friends, and be well.